All right. My name is Fernando Ramos. Um, this is my video presentation. So first part of that is we are gonna go over what we've learned thus far in up until this point of this course. All right. So I'm gonna label this Excel skills and techniques. Right. So chapter one, we have learning so introduced formatting. And then we were introduced to basic formulas. So that includes sum function, average function. All right. And then onward to chapter two. We learn custom formatting, and then we learn referencing. That's when we pull information from different spreadsheets. And then we learn outlining that helps us format our spreadsheet so it looks a little bit more cleaner, easier in the eyes. Then the choose function. Then chapter three, um, we implemented ratios into our spreadsheet that include well ratios such as you know li their liquidity ratios, current ratios, quick ratios, um, Z-score, and then DuPont analysis. All tools to help us figure out the financial health of the companies. Um, then functions that were introduced in this chapter, which was going to be the if and or. Those are the functions that we use in that chapter. And then chapter four. So functions that were introduced here, text function, date function. And then uh, we get into the tracer that helps us figure out what data is used. It helps us follow the data that was used for their respective formulas. It helps us keep us better in line, and just in case we make a mistake, we go back and know where to fix. And then we go over scenario manager that helps us get a different point of view for different types of data without actually changing the spreadsheet itself. So it's a very helpful tool. Um, and going over chapter five, we go over percent of sales, sales technique. Um, that is to forecast the firm's income and balance sheet. All right. Then we go over the time trend technique. right, time trend technique. Then we go over regression analysis. All right, then functions that we were introduced in this chapter. Go over the straight line depreciation function, trend function, then intercept and slope function. And don't worry, we'll format all this so it looks a little bit more prettier than this. Then chapter 7, go over goal seek. Then the if error function. Get my way. All right. So yeah, this is what we went over thus far. And all right, so next one, well, so for this skill that I wanted to demonstrate was gonna be our scenario manager. Um so yeah, so for this portion, how do we get this out of the way? This is really in my way. Let's put this. Huh. Let's put that down there. All right. So for this one, we want to see um how how it look like if we implement our capital outlays in different months. So let's check out this. So we're gonna go over to data. We're gonna go over to what if analysis. Then we're gonna go over to our scenario. Wow. Okay. All right. So for our first scenario, expenditure in June. Then the cells that we're looking to see change are gonna be E25 through H25. Then for this one, we want to see a scenario where June gets the capital outlay. And then we're going to zero out our default, which is July. And we're going to do it for each one of those months. We're going to keep it as is. This one. And we are going to add August. I'm laughing right now because this is the third time I'm making this video because I'm not learning from my mistakes. I didn't save the original video. Well, first video I made was I wasn't recording my screen. We you just only saw my face, so you didn't see the actual spreadsheet. And the second time around, video got corrupted, so let's see how far we go with this video. Huh. And then, all right, that was my little sidebar, but all right, all right. So we have our scenarios created right here, but we need to name ourselves. So once we get that summary sheet, it does look a little cleaner. So we have this made. We'll go over to my cells that we're looking to go into and name this June. Oh, looks like it was saved from my previous video, but obviously I'd be naming these July. Then I'm gonna go over my max borrowing. I'd be naming that max borrowing, but that was calculated earlier. But okay, we are gonna go over back to scenario manager, and then we're gonna create our summary sheet. All right, there we have it. So yeah, our scenario summary right here shows us how our capital outlay um will vary if we implement it in different months. So I have that right here. All right. So my next technique I'm gonna show is a text function. Um I'm gonna use exhibit 4-7 for this one. Um so I'm gonna format it my title so that it is referring to information in our title. So for this one, I'm gonna go ahead and enter in the formula. So this is what I'm adding in. Then we are gonna add in our text function. We're gonna reference E4, which is June. Then we want it formatted as such. I want it formatted in our months. Go ahead and close that off. And pause our function right there. Add in our text that we want to appear. And continue our function as so. Then we are going to reference the end of it, which is September. But we want it presented month, and then we want the year presented. All right, it's presented as such. Actually, let's fix this real quick. All right. So yeah, it's a neat way to format text using a function. So here's that. So we use our text function format that. So on to the next one, we are going to demonstrate goal seek. All right, so let's demonstrate goal seek. So for this one, I use I'm gonna use exhibit 7 dash 4, 7 dash 3, but I just want to find the break-even price. Um, basically the bare minimum that we would have to sell in order just to break even. All right. So for this one, we're gonna go over to our what if now analysis tab right here. We're gonna go over to goal seek. And for this one, we are gonna set earnings per share. So in this case, it would be cell 17, and we just want to see we're gonna set it to 0, and then we want to see our sales. So it calculates it for us. Bam. So yeah, our break-even point is gonna be 98,958. So yeah, all right. Well, this is my presentation. Thank you so much for listening to me, and hope you have a great day or great night. Where